Okay, good evening, and we shall now begin. We're going to use the TRICHY Plus verbal book. We will go with a couple of, it's a revision. So we'll do a few fill in the blanks. Then we'll take a close passage. We'll move on to a reading comprehension. We'll see how far this takes us. So you can start opening your books. Let me get hold of the attendance. Okay. Now have a look at your index so that there will be no challenge in what we are following. We are going as per the index. And in fill in the blanks, there are totally 5 sections. It says practice 1, 2, 3, and we have practice 5. I'm going to do samples from all the 5 practice tests. Now, there may be a couple of students who are in this batch for a longer period. There could also be new joinees. So let's listen to what is the strategy when you are attempting the fill in the blanks. The fill in the blanks can be provided with vocabulary words, and you could also get grammar, wherein the parts of speech, the focus will be on that, like prepositions. For example, maybe you could get the verbs that are in the wrong tense. So you'll have to read the whole question, pick up the meaning of the sentence, then have a look at what is provided, grammar or vocabulary, and make your choices. Now, I'm beginning with practice test 1, just to point out how grammar is also utilized. So, questions 1 and 2 and 7 tell you clearly that the blank has to be filled with a preposition. So the preposition can be explained as a word to show you the position of the object or whatever you are in search of. It shows the position. So I'm reading sentence number 1. You can follow from your textbook. He was accustomed dash the pain. And you had 5 options: by, in, the, of, and to. So the correct preposition will be to. You can only be accustomed to something, accustomed to the cold. For example, in this case, accustomed to the pain. The second question is, she was annoyed the fact that she had been ignored. So we have options like in, of, by, to, and for. Now, the word annoyed, yes, Abhinaya, very good, can only be followed by annoyed by. You cannot say annoyed to. So it is the third option. As I told you, I'm moving on to the 7th one. Once again, a preposition. They took the forest trail. Now pay attention to this word, trail. So trail refers to a pathway. If you rewrite the word tr and you say ial, then it has a whole different meaning because it is trial. So yes, the preposition will be they took the forest trail through. Through means between something. So I've done 3 with prepositions. I am moving on to taking the 26th question. 26th question. And again, you have articles and you have the preposition. So you have a and the, off and on are prepositions. I am very excited about dash final match, which will be played at Wankhede Stadium. Now, it is a particular stadium and a particular game. So the definite article of THE has to be utilized. Now, all this time we have been looking, yes, Shobika, good. Bharat also had given me the answer. Thank you. Now, we move on to looking at vocabulary. So I'm reading question number 27. The habitats. See, habit is something that you do regularly, but a habitat is the normal place where animals can stay. So, habitats of leopards, especially in Guwahati, are no longer their own, but have been dashed by humans. So, I've got 5 words. Rely means to depend, usurped, to take over illegally. Leave is to go away. Uncouth, very rough, indisciplined people. And undermine means to reduce the importance. Now, the correct word will be usurped. So, the human beings have taken over the traditional habitats of the animal, and this is done illegally, so it is usurped. I'm turning to question 29. Right. The reason I've taken 29, some words could be new for some of the candidates. The whole problem of migrants. So, who is a migrant? A person who leaves one place and goes to another place. It's not just place, it could mean countries. The whole problem of migrants from Western Asia wanting to enter Europe. Conditions are not good there, so they are looking for better conditions. Is dash into a crisis very rapidly. Now, Abhinaya, just hold on 1 minute. I'll tell you why resulting means that is the consequence. And with that, it is over. But here, the problem continues. It becomes larger and larger and larger. Now, wavering is not to be constant. Tolerating is to put up with somebody. Turn, change your direction. Resulting is the consequence of an action. Now you find snowballing, which means to increase rapidly. Consider the top of a mountain peak when the snow starts moving, or what we call avalanche. And then as that snowballs, more and more snow gets onto it. It means it is increasing rapidly. We move on to practice test 2. And again, this is vocabulary based. So I'm looking at question number 31 initially. Just a moment. "31 is very simple. The same words are there, but put in a different order. The weather is dash, hence it is dash in the room. And we have combinations like dry and damp, antonyms. Humid and dry. So dry means there's absolutely no moisture. Humidity has moisture. dry and wet, humid and damp, damp and wet. Now, unless the weather is humid because of the moisture, then it is damp in the room. And yes, option number 4. Now, please go forward to question number 37. Quick, decisive, coming from the word decision. Make a decision very fast. Quick, decisive responses are dash with competency. Then notice the colon. Those 2 dots are called colon. Now, when you use a colon, which is a punctuation mark, the sentence can end at that point or it can continue. So in this case, it continues. They command dash. So they command something. The correct answer will be associated and respect. Quick, it is option 3. Now, a quick response is you respond very correctly. Then how can you use the word subordination? Subordination means you're below somebody. So look at 3 and I'll tell you why it is correct. Quick, decisive responses are associated, connected with what? Your competency, your skill, your ability, your potential. Colon. And this is something that is respected. Therefore, they say they command respect. They command respect. So option 3 is the correct answer. We move on to 38. Automobiles have gone from mechanical dash of limited complexity to computational dash on wheels. And you have different combinations. Combination 1 says cars and ciphers, codes, contraptions and engines, applications and machines, gizmos, so tech-savvy appliances, gizmos, and contrivances and designs. To contrive, you're trying to do something, and the designs. Now, automobiles have gone from what stage? Mechanical applications of limited complexity to what? Computational machines on wheels. We are still in practice test 2, but we are now looking at question 43. And first, we'll have a look at the vocabulary, a lot of nice new words. I will explain the vocabulary and then give you an opportunity to make your choice. First choice says tacit and superstition. Now, tacit means implicit. Immediately you do something. What is superstition? You don't have any reason, but you blindly follow what somebody else told you. And then because of that, you also begin to doubt. You become superstitious, going not by facts, but by oral tradition. Then you have the second set of words, brevity and mythology. So brevity is to be very precise, concise, brief, to know everything and to say it in as few words as possible, but to convey the correct meaning. And a myth again, there is no proof for it, but it has been handed down from generation to generation, and you're not able to prove whether it's true or false, and you tend to believe in it. You have a lot of faith in mythology. So that is mythology. Laconic, very indifferent. You are not proactive. So in certain cases, it could be lazy. Sometimes it could be very reserved. And again, you see the word mythology. Fourth option, I hope you're writing down the meanings. Fourth option is agnostic. A person who does not believe and wants everything to be proved. You show me, give me the proof, then I will believe you. Until you show me the proof, I do not believe you. Religion, that is your individual faith. Reticent comes from the word you are not willing to move forward, you're very shy, you're very laid back. And again, you have the word superstition. So, like we say, don't go out in a group of three. Do not walk under a ladder. Stop if you see a black cat on the road. Somebody had some negative reaction, and that goes on and it becomes a superstition. Now I'm going to read the sentence. Yes, Abhinaya, and we read the sentence, then we apply the words. So the word dash suggests someone who is not bothered about the relationship between science and dash and who wants to get on with things. So a person who does not believe is agnostic, and therefore he's not worried about science and religion and wants to get on with things. The correct one is 4. Now we have one more on question number 48. I think this is pretty easy with words like very, marginally, extremely, finally, totally. So you can solve 48. Only thing, pay attention. There are 2 sentences. The questions are used to test your vocabulary skill and your understanding of the usage of various words. The questions have 5 options with a word each that may be suitably employed to complement, to support one of the questions, but may not serve the same purpose in the other sentence. As your correct answer, you must select an option in which the word assists both the statements to retain their logical consistencies and completes them in the most appropriate way. So, we'll read question 48. Growth of consumption, both private and government, is dash lower than last year. India's innovation index ranking dash to 66 in the year 2013 as compared to 64 in the previous year. So what are you going to take that will fill both the sentences? Anybody trying? Okay, I'll tell you, it is the word marginally. It is the word marginally. Move forward to question number 55. 55, 55 under the same group, which is practice test 2, has new vocabulary. The politician says his budget proposal will help eliminate the dash inequality between the poor and the rich by increasing the taxes paid by those in the higher income dash. Now, you might want to choose higher income group, but can you say eliminate the finance inequality? You will have to say financial inequality. So therefore, you can't take 5. And instead, you can try the first option. Higher income bracket is absolutely correct. Now, to eliminate the what type of inequality? So the word is pecuniary, which means related to money. So please take option number 1, for question number 55. Turnover, we are coming to practice test 3. So I told you I am going to take examples from all the practice tests. I'm looking at question number 69. There's only one blank. If you read the sentence, you will understand. I think all the 5 words are used very commonly in our day-to-day reading, if not studies. In Indian democracy's dash, the hunger strike. Now, this is a particular event. And when you think of hunger strike, every protest has always had a hunger strike. In Indian democracy's dash, the hunger strike is a uniquely powerful weapon, immediately identifiable with demands for justice. So we had a lot of very important people going on to a hunger strike. So they say fast unto death, farmers' agitation, that also can come to your mind to help you to pick up the word. And there are 5 words. Alight, which means to descend, come down. So the Prime Minister alighted from the helicopter. Annals, record of events. Assimilate, to take in. Annul, make invalid, declare invalid. And according to has the same meaning of stated or mentioned. So is there anybody in the class who would like to try this question? Bharat, want to try? Madhumita? The correct word would be annals, A-N-N-A-L-S. See, you are looking at Indian democracy's records. It's not according to the democracy that this is there. It has been noted from the past that whenever they wanted to, get something and initially it was not being given, then they would resort, if they use violence, they'll be arrested. So this is a very peaceful way. Only you are without any kind of food or liquid, not even water, and you can get dehydrated and you can die. So this is a very powerful method. And where do we read about all this? We read about it in the annals. Okay. Move on to question number 79. When Mr. Madan, the school principal, announced he would be leaving the school after 30 years, there was a dash silence in the auditorium. And the words are, yes, you're correct, Bharat, it is not disturbed, it is poignant. You can't say a disturbed silence. Then there is no silence. So poignant, a meaningful a silence, very meaningful, very feeling hearted. So the word was poignant. Now gradually you notice that I'm pointing out new vocabulary so that you will get acclimatized to learning new words. Okay, move to 81. As oil prices have dashed in recent months, the nationalized oil companies have been crying themselves hoarse. So this is an idiom, have been crying themselves hoarse. They are asking and repeatedly asking. So many times they are requesting. Nobody is paying attention. It is almost as good as that they were screaming and their throat got dry. It's an idiomatic expression. Have been crying themselves hoarse that the government's reluctance to correspondingly increase prices at the pump has been devastating, really shocking to their bottom lines. Now, there are 5 words. Recline is to rest backwards. Sloppy, very clumsy, untidy, lazy. Galloped is the past tense of the verb to gallop, and we normally use this verb in connection with horses. They run very fast. We don't say the horse runs fast. We say the horse gallops, and gallop means it's gone at a high speed. Increase, rambled, to continue to move very slowly, not in a particular focused manner, rambled. Now, oil prices have, you can't take the word increase. Have increase would be wrong grammar. Should have been at least increased, yes. But to say how fast, recline is to lie down to rest. But the correct verb would be galloped. The price kept increasing and increasing. So galloped is the correct verb. Take 85. Again, there's vocabulary in the statement as well as in the option, but the words are not unheard of, excepting that you need to think and recall these words. I'll read the statement. If photo ops of climbing ropes, now where do we have climbing ropes? You have it in any adventure park where there are ledges and you want to use climbing ropes, or you have it in an outdoor situation where you find in the military camps when they are doing physical exercises, you have a thick rope and you need to pull yourself up. It's quite a strenuous exercise. So, if auto ops of climbing ropes and pumping weight in gyms, lifting weights, that's all, is going to serve as fitness certificates for Indian wrestlers, then the country can continue to dash about in mediocrity. To be mediocre, you're not outstanding. You're just doing something at a very average level. And you have 5 words: hurry, dwindle, to reduce, to bring down, to allow a quantity to come down to a very low level. Dwindling resources. Wail is to cry. Dawdle, you're only wasting time. You're not looking at technique. You're not looking at, competing, being competitive. You just think this kind of a little exercise is more than enough. I can become a world champion. And rapt, very alert, to be alert. So, if you just look at all the demonstrations that are put up, and you don't practice and you don't compete and you're not aggressively competitive, then you are only dawdling or wasting time. Yes, Abhinaya, it is dawdle. Good. Do 87. Words are extremely simple. High, acme, culminate, bottom, base. So, let me see what you are going to choose. After you do that, I will explain how you make the choice. But I want your participation. Come on, I'm giving you 15 seconds. All the words are very, very simple. Please work it out. Anybody making the choice? The word is not Acme. We will take, yeah, Acme, because he reached the peak of his power. Highest. Acme, pinnacle, zenith, they are all synonyms. So, yes, that is correct. Okay. I'm moving on to 95, where this is practice test 4. In case of any abrupt changes in the weather conditions, the CA pilots about potential hazards and tells them how to respond by using a dash of complicated codes. So the correct choice would be alerts the pilots, alerts, warns, tells them in advance about potential hazards and tells them how to respond by using not just one method but a series of codes. Let's move on to doing 96. Preoccupied with fear of appearing dash, team members keep uncertainties under dash. I cannot hear you. Okay, now, preoccupied with fear of appearing dash, team members keep uncertainties under dash. Now, because you're afraid of, people thinking that you're not fit for anything, whenever you have a doubt, you don't disclose it. So the word is incompetent and wraps. Wraps means hidden. We'll move forward to doing 103. And this is still in practice test 4, and we will move forward taking exercises from practice test 5. So 103, although. Now, please remember, when you have the word although starting, there could be a turner or a change of expression. Although dash donations to help rebuild the orphanage. What is the meaning of the word orphanage? A place where children who do not have parents, they are abandoned, no mother, no father, they are just left without anybody to look after them. And there is a charitable institution where these children are brought. This is called an orphanage. Although dash donations to help rebuild the orphanage took a lot of time and energy, in the end, everyone agreed it had been a very worthwhile dash. So, a worthwhile. Now, it's easy to find what can follow worthwhile. You cannot say a trial. So, the first one that you can eliminate will be the word trial. So, if you eliminate the third option, a very worthwhile urging, there is no connection, remove one. A worthwhile venture, okay, considering it to be like a project, might be considered, but you can't say although invited donation. So there the grammar is wrong. So remove 4. We removed 1, we removed 4, we removed 3. Now we are there with 2 and 5. Although demands, how do you demand? You can only request, you can solicit, you can ask, you can beg. You cannot demand. So 5 is out and it becomes 2. So you see how by using process of elimination, you will be in a position to solve. So therefore, the second option is correct. To solicit means to ask, to request, although soliciting donations, then you say a worthwhile endeavor. Now, let's move on to question 105. At this point, dash, the loss of a major player, the home team is predicted to dash the championship at this point. Now, we can't say at this point warring. So it will not work. Is predicted to one, wrong grammar. No, my girl, you can't say at this point, excluding the loss of a major player, the home team is predicted to loss. The verb may be correct, but you can't predict to loss. Grammar is not correct. So you have to say, you have to remove 2, predicted to lost, past tense. 3 is out. Predicted to pick the championship, not applicable. The correct option would be predicted to win. Now you have got win, which is correct. Now come back to barring. At this point, barring the loss of a major player, they were predicted to win. So we have done 105. We will have a look at 107. When the critic dash the painting of the rainforest. Okay, somebody made a painting of the rainforest. Here you have the word rainforest. I would bring to your knowledge that today Google articles are talking about the mangrove forest. So there are different kinds of forest. Okay, so the rainforest, he could not help but notice the artist's apostrophe S. So it shows possession for the outdoors. Now, you can't say, you might think the artist's love for the outdoors. Let's consider 5. But how will you say, when the critic looked the painting? Wrong grammar. So 5 is eliminated. When the critic checked, okay, he can check. Artist zealous. Zealous won't fit here. It should have been zeal. Okay, so 4 is out. How can you say artist passionate? Passionate is an adjective. She is a passionate person. If you want to use the apostrophe S, you have to use the abstract noun passion. It belongs to the artist. So 1 is eliminated. See how much of grammar is combined with your vocabulary. Now you're left with 2 options. When the critics saw the painting, okay, you think, okay, he is not commenting, he saw. The artist liked. How will you say like here? Again, you can't say like because like is a verb. Eliminate. What is left over? When the critic reviewed, looking at it for the second, third, fourth time, and he's a critic. So he just doesn't look at anything. He looks at it seriously from different angles. Therefore, the verb reviewed, re, repetitive prefix, looks at it many times at different angles. Reviewed is correct. He could not help but notice the artist's what? Ardor. Ardor is another word for passion. So therefore, the third answer is correct. The third answer is correct. Kindly move on to 111. Please move on to 111. See if you can solve this by yourself. Even after you dash, the so-called charities request for donation. They continue to dash you every week. So look at the sentence. Even after you did something in response to them asking for donations, they still continue to come behind you. The word would be spurn. Now, the meaning of spurn is to, in a very negative manner, to tell the person that you don't have any intention of giving them anything. You spurn their idea, you discard their idea, you disconnect from them. So, spurn will fit the first blank, and hound. Now, hound has got two meanings. One meaning of the word hound as a noun is another word for a dog. Okay. In fact, there's the name of a story written by Sherlock Holmes, The Hound of the Baskervilles. It's a big dog, like a mastiff. And to hound somebody is to keep on going behind them, to irritate them, to annoy them, asking for something which they did not want to give you. You keep hounding a person. So the correct option is the third one. In 112, it is again idiomatic English. Dhyan Chand was part of the unbeatable hockey team that dashed 3 Olympic goals from 1928 to 1936 and is believed to have scored over 400 goals in his international career when he hung his dash in 1948. This is an idiomatic expression. Please note, yes, the word is boots. You cannot say hung his boot. It means he gave it up. So you needed to have the plural on the noun to complete the idiomatic expression. It means he stopped playing after that point of time. Please move forward to practice test 5 and we will look at just 2 questions right here. 127. Choose the most appropriate option that comprises words to fill in both the blanks. 127. You find the words are almost overlapping. Flipping, provide. Flip, given. Provide is to give. Thoughtless, hold. Flippant, offered. Shallow, very low. Shallow can also mean a person who does not have deep intellectual thinking. Gave. So you see, words are just rewritten in different orders. If you are dashed during your job interview, you will not be dash a position. Easiest word is you will not be. You might want to say given, but then you can't say if you are flipped. No. The word flippant means you're very casual, you're very indifferent. Therefore, you will not be offered a position. So it is the fourth option. In 129, the reason I selected this option is while the line is simple, there are many new words that you can come across for your academic comprehension. After the dash skirmish was over, the battlefield was dash in blood. Okay, even if you don't know what is the meaning of skirmish, A skirmish means not large enough to be called a war, not small enough to be called a fight and a quarrel. So, a very in between word, but a lot of fatalities can occur, a lot of damage can be done, a lot of loss of lives. So, naturally, if a life is lost, what will you find there? You will find blood. So, you need to use some word to be to fulfill the sentence. Come on, let me see what you are going to take. So while you might be looking, the battlefield was soaked in blood, the battlefield was covered in blood, the battlefield was drenched in blood. You've got to take the first gap. So the last one was easier. Now, after the brutal skirmish, this could have been a good word. So they fought very, very strongly. But you can't say the battlefield was soggy in blood. That won't work there. The battlefield was covered. Gory also could be there because it means terrible infliction of wounds, bleeding. Sanguinary means bloody. So, so much of blood has flown after killing went on at the battlefield that the battlefield was drenched in blood. So, third is the correct option. Yes, good Abhinaya, sanguinary, and drenched. That leaves us with the end of this fill in the blanks. We've seen the logical reasoning, we've looked at grammar, we've looked at not only parts of speech, but also extension where we've got uh, past tense words and primarily new words, which is vocabulary. Now, we have just 10 minutes, and there's a very, very simple reading comprehension that anybody can do with speed. So please go to your RC, and this is from question number 61 to 70. See, remember, at different examination levels, you can get very simple reading comprehensions, and I've therefore taken an easy level. Later on, we can go to higher levels. 61 to 70 RC, there are only 6 contextual questions. 4 are vocabulary, 2 are synonyms, 2 are antonyms. So, I'm going to read the RC. Kindly follow. And pay attention to the words that are given in bold, because those are the words that you have to look for as antonyms or synonyms. A long time ago, the town of Hamelin, Germany, was faced with a great problem. The town was infested with rats. The rats were so big and fierce that they fought the dogs, killed the cats, bit the babies in the cradles. They ate the town's food and destroyed valuable documents. The people had grown tired of the rats, but were unable to do anything. The city mayor and the administrative officers called a meeting to solve the nuisance. They offered a prize for the person who would save them from the rats. Then one day, a queer fellow, peculiar fellow with piercing eyes came to town. He was called the Pied Piper. He went to the mayor and asked him, "What will you pay me if I free your town of every single rat?" The mayor offered 50 pounds to the Pied Piper. Happy with the offer, the Pied Piper started playing a melodious, very sweet tune on his pipe. Hearing the shrill, keen note, every rat came out from its hole. So the hole is the habitat of the rat, and started following him. The Pied Piper kept on playing his pipe, and the rats followed him. The piper walked up to the harbor with millions of rats behind him and led them into the water and waited till every rat had drowned. Now the town was free of the little devils, and the people were very happy. After all the rats were dead, the Pied Piper returned and asked the mayor for his money. The mayor said that he could only give him 20 pounds for such an easy job. Since the rats were dead, the mayor thought that there was nothing to worry about. But the Pied Piper wanted to teach him a lesson. This time he played a different tune. Hearing his music, the children came out of their houses. They started following the piper, dancing and shouting. The elders watched in disbelief as the Pied Piper led the children far, far away. The mayor sent his men to look for the piper and bring the children back, but none could find the lost children. Now, a very simple story. And you can offer to give me the answers. What was the problem that plagued? Now, you should know the meaning of the word plague. Troubled them. And the option is 4. It's given in the passage that the rats ate the food, bit the babies. It's not 1. There was no disease. Plague, Plague, is a noun which means a sickness that comes out because of the rat. But when you have Plagued, it is a verb, something that is continuously disturbing you. And the whole story talks about the problem with the rats. Therefore, your answer is serial number 4. Question number 62. Why was the mayor keen to get rid of the rats? Yes, Bharat. Because all the damage that they caused, it's enumerated there. It is the third option. Now, what did the Pied Piper do to get rid of the rats? Remember, I told you the meaning of the word melodious. He played a sweet tune to lure the rats. It is the second option. Good. 64. What did the mayor do after the Pied Piper returned? So, did he give him the money? Not at all. So, eliminate 2. Did he banish him? Drive him away? No. He thought he can cheat him. So he said, I'll give you only 20 pounds. And finally, the Pied Piper cheated him. Yes, it is option number 5. How did the Pied Piper teach the mayor a lesson? Yes, he lured the children of the town to a faraway place. He didn't take the townspeople. He took the town's children. Therefore, 1 was the option. 66. What did the mayor do when the children followed the Pied Piper? Yes, in vain he tried to trace them. It is option 4. Good. Now we have only the 4 vocabulary, 2 synonyms and 2 antonyms. I've already told you that infested means plague, troubled. So therefore, 1 is the option. Good. 68, queer. A very peculiar person. Somebody who's so different from the others. Queer means strange. When your behavior is not normal, they say it's queer. Okay. 69. Which is the antonym, the opposite of nuisance? Nuisance means troubling you, annoying you, being a burden onto you. So therefore, you don't like the person. And opposite is a blessing. The 70th, which is the antonym of disbelief. DIS is the negative prefix in front of the word belief. So if you remove the DIS, automatically you come down to the word belief, to trust. Okay, and look at this. So option 3 is correct, I'm just telling you about option two. Mal is again the meaning of bad. So the root, anything which has mal inside is bad. So malice, extreme revenge or anger that you have on a person, and that is not the antonym of disbelief. The antonym of disbelief is belief. We have now come to the end of a session. So good evening and thank you. The class is now over.